Hello, everyone. I am Jacki Lutz with the Auto Care Association, and I am here with Lisa Foshee, who is the Senior VP of Governor Affairs and the General Counsel of Auto Care Association. And if you haven't noticed, we have been doing a huge push for Right to Repair this month. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And I thought it's just so appropriate to get Lisa Foshee on here just to talk and give a little bit more context behind the effort and what we're really trying to do. And I just thought maybe we can start, Lisa. Maybe you can just quickly summarize Right to Repair for the audience.
Absolutely, Jacki. Thanks so much for visiting today. It's such an exciting topic and an exciting time to be part of it. So at its very core, Right to Repair simply means that if you own something, you have the ability to fix it. And it applies across consumer devices, agriculture, medical devices, and in our case, automotive. If you own your car, you should have the right to access the data that you need to fix that car. Period, full stop. And Right to Repair is a movement across the United States and across the globe right now because people want to be able to have control over the things that they buy.
So talk to me about how it all works and how long Auto Care has been up, like doing this and pushing this forward. How long has this effort taken place? And then what are all the steps along the way and where are we at today?
Sure. So in the case of automotive, Right to Repair means that the owner of the car and our independent repair shops can access all of the vehicle diagnostic and repair codes necessary to fix their customers' cars. So, everybody in the industry knows there's 5,000 of these codes, give or take, both on the light duty and the heavy duty side. And we have to be able to easily, economically access all of that information to make sure that cars can be safely repaired, whether at an independent shop or by a do-it-yourselfer. So Auto Care has been on this journey for over a decade to make sure that the automakers are obligated to make the same information available to the aftermarket that they make to their own dealers and franchise repair facilities. It's really been a two-pronged strategy up to this point. We started in Massachusetts, and passed a law in 2012 that led to what's known as the 2014 Memorandum of Understanding. And that was a handshake deal between the aftermarket and the auto manufacturers, where they agreed to provide us access to repair data. Subsequent to the light duty MOU, the heavy duty side of the market also entered into an MOU in 2015. And we've been operating under those handshake deals. But as cars and trucks have become more complex, we all hear them described now as computers on wheels. The data that we used to have access to in the OBD2 port is now being sent wirelessly to the manufacturers. And we, in many cases, do not have access to that data anymore. So in 2020, the aftermarket passed another law in Massachusetts saying that we not only get the OBD2 data, we also get the wirelessly transmitted data, or what's known as telematics. Right after we passed that law, the auto manufacturers went to court and they sued the state of Massachusetts and said that the law was illegal. And unfortunately, the judge in that case, despite having a trial, has refused to rule on that case. So it's been sitting in court for 4 years. Fast forward to November 2023, we went to the voters in Maine and said, what do you think of Right to Repair for automobiles? And it won't come as any surprise to anyone in this audience that 84% of the voters in Maine supported Right to Repair. They supported their right to have access to the data in their cars. So that law was passed. Immediately, the auto manufacturers went to some of the legislators in Maine and asked them to gut the law. In essence, to pass an amendment that reduced all of the access that the voters had said they want and they need. So we are in the process right now in Maine of trying to prevent that amendment from passing. And we think when all of the legislators hear from their voters that we will be successful in stopping that effort. So that's what's happening on the states. And you can tell it's been a long journey, over a decade of fighting these fights on behalf of the aftermarket. So then fast forward to the federal strategy. In 2023, February of 2023, we introduced the Repair Act in the House of Representatives in Congress. It now has 50 bipartisan co-sponsors, people who have signed up and said, yes, I would vote for this bill to protect the right to repair in automotive. And anybody who spends any time watching the national media will understand the importance of the word bipartisan. That means we have 25 Republicans and 25 Democrats that equally support this concept. And that is so critical to us getting this done. So we introduced it. It went to the subcommittee of the Energy and Commerce Committee of the House of Representatives. We had a hearing in September, and Kathleen Callahan, who owns a repair shop in Florida, spent a week with us in DC and testified before Congress on behalf of our industry and explaining why this was so important. As a result of her testimony, the subcommittee passed the bill out of subcommittee, and we now are hopeful that we will have a full hearing sometime in the second quarter of this year in front of the Energy and Commerce Committee. If we can get it out of the Energy and Commerce Committee, Jackie, will then go to the floor of the House of Representatives. And in the meantime, we have to get the bill introduced in the Senate, and then it goes through the same process in the Senate. And then the two bills meet and they reconcile the language, and then it goes to President Biden to sign it. So that's the process. But we have to finish that process as a practical matter by the end of October of this year because of the election.
Right.
And then Congress will expire in December. So that is why anyone who knows me knows I talk about nothing except right to repair and the Repair Act because our time here is short and involvement is critical.
So the push that we're doing right now is a result of that kind of October end in sight and really trying to get things moving prior to the new Congress coming in.
Yep, you got it. If we don't get it done before December, we have to start over.
And there's
And
also
we will
push
start over.
Yeah, in June too, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of recesses take place too. Like over the summer, things tend to slow down a bit.
They'll go home because they have to campaign, most of them.
Mhm.
Now, fortunately, their staffs don't recess. And, you know, in many cases, it's the staffs that are really doing the work on all of these things. So we will have opportunity to continue working with all the offices. But your presumption is totally correct that they cannot vote unless they are in session in DC. And the closer we get to the election, the fewer days they will be in session and in DC. So we are, if you want to use a football analogy, we are in the red zone here, and we have got to get the ball over the end zone. And so that's why we are just begging, pleading, demanding, doing anything we can to get everybody who's listening to this video involved.
And what can they do? So what is the call to action to the people listening to this? They identify with it. They want to help. What is the call to action?
So many ways you can get involved. The easiest way is to use our QR code. It takes 5 minutes, and you will have sent 3 letters to Congress saying that you support HR 906. And I can assure you that there are staffers in every one of those offices that keep lists of the issues that they get contacted about. So those letters matter. Second, take that QR code, put it up at your pool in the neighborhood, give it to your customers, give it to your suppliers, give it to your employees. The more people that we can use to generate letters, the louder our message will be. And I can tell you, Jackie, that the auto manufacturers spend tens of millions of dollars on lobbyists in DC. Tens of millions of dollars. We do not have that kind of money. But what we do have is our members, the people that show up every day to support their families and support their employees and support their businesses. And so if you will send those letters, that matters. Secondly, host one of your congressional representatives at your place of business. We will set it up for you. We will come if you want us to come. And they love to do that. They love to meet their constituents. They love to come to your place of business. They love to post pictures about it. And it's hugely impactful for them understanding why we need this issue to protect our industry. And then third, if you're willing, come to DC. We will take you to Capitol Hill. We will take you to your legislators' offices, and you yourself can explain why this issue is so critical.
Yeah, and I guess, speaking of our members, I think it's appropriate that we do a couple shout outs. We did some shout outs a week ago to some of our, I would say more like passenger vehicle members. And there's a few heavy duty members who have really gone above and beyond. And I know you've worked very closely with all of these. So I think it's appropriate for us to shout out a little bit. The first one being HDA Truck Pride.
Unbelievable. All three of these companies have gone above and beyond to support both the heavy duty side of the industry and the Repair Act in general. You see some of these pictures here. HDA, sponsor of our Auto Care on Deck event for the congressional baseball game, and most famously known for introducing the Bill costume that you see in the pictures here. Any of you who remember I'm Just a Bill on Capitol Hill will be really happy to see the Bill costume. And Tina Hubbard, who's the CEO of HDA Truck Pride, is huge supporter of the Repair Act, and will be one of those people who, if we get this thing passed, will be one of the primary reasons. So thank you, HDA Truck Pride.
But I truly think one of the most impactful things she did, though, was to be that mascot, to reveal the face behind the mask. I mean, that was pretty fun watching that on stage, and everybody wanted to get their picture with the Bill. So
absolutely. Okay, Fleet Pride. Cannot say enough about their corporate dedication to leading this effort on behalf of the heavy duty market. They have come to Washington. They have hosted multiple site visits around the country for key legislators on the Energy and Commerce Committee. They have incorporated this into their supplier checklists, right, to make sure that their suppliers are engaged in right to repair. They talk about it at their corporate events. They talk about it with their customers. Fleet Pride is without question one of the key reasons that the bill has gotten as far as it has. And we cannot thank them enough for both their C-suite involvement and for everybody in the field that has supported these efforts.
Yes. Thank you, Fleet Pride. And Vipar.
And then Vipar, I mean, amazing involvement in terms of getting out the message. They've done member campaigns, employee campaigns, customer campaigns. You can see examples of all of the messaging that, Auto Care can make available to you, and then you can use to get the message out and to get those letters sent. And you'll see in terms of the QR code, we have a light duty QR code and we have a heavy duty QR code. And so you can, we can tailor it to whatever message you want to get out. And Vipar has been just a champion of beating the drum as to why this is so important and why people need to get involved. So thank you, Vipar.
Thank you, Vipar. And we'll make sure at the end of this video, we share both of those QR codes so anybody can scan and get those letters sent. And for members who are members of any of the auto care communities, we do have an exciting tournament, if you will, kicking off in the next couple days. We're calling it Member Madness. And it's kind of a play off of March Madness, but we're going to pin all of the communities against each other and see who can send the most letters to Congress. And we have unique QR codes for each one of those communities. And whoever wins at the end of this tournament will get a $2,000 scholarship to use for their community, however they see fit. So this is just one more thing we're doing to give members a little bit of a kick to get going and share this and get some letters out to their legislators. And there'll be more on that in the coming days, but looking forward to seeing how that progresses. Do you have any predictions, Lisa?
I cannot even begin to predict. I know every one of our communities is so engaged, and I'm really excited to see who pulls it out in the end.
I don't know. I mean, I do know why, but I feel like Women in Auto Care always gets it done. So in my little bet with our communications team, I have Women in Auto Care as the number one. I hope they prove me right.
All right. I love it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. Really appreciate your time. If anyone has any questions, always feel free to reach out to either one of us. We will share the QR codes. Please scan those, get those letters in. And Lisa, we'll have to do this again soon.
All right. I'll keep you updated.